All right, Coach. Introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Brent, Leiba, head women's soccer coach at Howard University.
Talk about tonight's game and what you were looking to accomplish before headed off the conference tournament.
Yeah, really, these past couple of games has been the opportunity for us to get a little bit healthy. We've had a good portion of our players out this year, so find each game we're starting to find our rhythm, we're starting to gel, and I think each half we're starting to put more things together. It's unfortunate we gave up a couple pretty soft goals for us that first half, quite frankly, and I thought after that we started to settle down. Second half I thought we played very well, and probably one of the better halves that we've had for the season. That's how this game goes. You don't finish your opportunities, can come back to haunt you, and credit Houston Baptist for putting the couple chances they had into the back of the net. That's something that we build on and learn from as far as trying to finish our opportunities in the future.
Talk about the conference from you all standpoint. You all do a lot of traveling because of where you all are in reference to who you all need to play in order to stay Division I. Just talk. Has that been an obstacle for you all for the girls adjusting, especially the freshmen? We're accustomed to being close by or travel is short, but in a college level, having to make those distances and all that.
Yeah, we're in the Great West, so obviously being from the Eastern region, the conference calls for some travel, and each year it flip-flops. So last year Houston was in DC, and this year obviously we're in Houston. So the conference does a pretty good job trying to make it where when we have to come to Houston, we'll just knock out a couple of games, Houston, Utah, before we head back home, rather than playing one, going back to DC, and then coming back to the Western region of the division. So, but yeah, the reality is it requires a lot of travel. On the other hand, I know it's good for team camaraderie. Don't get the opportunity, a lot of times to come to the western side of the region. So it helps with building chemistry, and having two quality opponents in Houston Baptist and Utah Valley on the western side obviously helps us.
I know you need to get to your team, but two last questions. One, who has played well for you this season heading into the conference tournament?
We have a few. As we get a few bodies back as well too. We had some major injuries to some of our impactful players, so we're getting a few of those bodies back, and we're starting to gel and we're finding our rhythm. But some of the standouts is our goalkeeper Kira Dickinson, our two center backs Trishelle Gibson-Surrett and Brittany Peebles. Centrally for us we have Nia Walcott, Owen Mantoon, who's not coming back from an injury, as well as Aretha Kofo, who's been playing up top and in the midfield as well too. Jordan Brown. It's probably one of the most notable players. Most opposing coaches will probably say she's our probably biggest threat. So she's had a pretty good season as well too, as well as Cynthia Snyder and our freshman Dietrich Reddy, who's served a very impactful role for us this year.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question. How's the team adjusting with what's going on back home?
It's tough. It's tough. We have a lot of family and friends back home, so I know the girls, whether at the hotel, whenever we have a break, they're in constant communication, just trying to figure out what's going on with Sandy, see what the conditions are like back home. At first we thought it was going to be a little bit milder, but it seemed like within the past 24 hours the storm took a turn for the worst, and presently I'm hearing it's I guess around 8 o'clock it really turned for the worst. So I'm sure once we hop into the vans, head back to the hotel, we'll be on the phone just making sure that all of our loved ones are safe.
All right, Coach, introduce yourself and then we'll close out.
This is Brent Leiba, head women's soccer coach, Howard University.
This is Jerry Lee Woodley Jr. with the King Size View College Sports Report.